Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Council. You can hear me okay?
Sure can. Up to 5 minutes. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Sean Nardi. I live in Vancouver. I oppose the CD1 rezoning 2086 to 2098 West 7th Avenue and 2091 West 8th Avenue. I live a short distance from the site. I am a former parishioner of St. Augustine's Church. I have friends that teach at St. Augustine's School and friends who live in the neighborhood. So I'm familiar with the site, the neighborhood, and the proposal. While I strongly support recovery-oriented housing, I also support genuine, responsive public engagement that respects the wisdom and insights of neighborhoods instead of dismissing them. I support good governance and decision-making that is based upon facts and data, not political expediency, and I support solutions that are based upon proven success and the best research available. This proposal and the process followed to achieve it observe none of these principles. I'm sure you've already heard plenty about the myriad failures of this proposal. It will create extensive shadows not only over St. Augustine's Elementary Schoolyard, but also Delamont Park across 7th Avenue. I'm sure you all remember that the Broadway plan did propose loose plans to expand and renew Delamont Park, a popular play spot in this dense, human-scale neighborhood. If you approve this rezoning, Delamont Park will find itself shaded by this building for most of the afternoon during our darkest days from October to March. Staff won't tell you that. Unfortunately, the flaccid solar access protections in the Broadway plan do nothing to protect St. Augustine's Schoolyard nor Delamont Park during these darkest times of the year. And neither the City nor BC Housing has thoughtfully considered the concerns of Santa Maria House, which helps vulnerable women flee violence and recover from mental health and addiction issues, and which is located adjacent to the proposed development. Santa Maria has advised that none of the feedback it provided was contemplated in the proposal you are considering today. But most disheartening is the fact that contemporary research demonstrates that the model upon which this development is based won't help the very people it is intended to help. Dr. Julian Summers, a clinical psychologist and researcher at SFU, has performed extensive research into addiction and mental health issues, including the 20 years of success that Portugal has enjoyed in treating drug addiction. Over the past 6 months, I have learned that Dr. Summers' research shows that the costly and morally questionable segregation of mental health patients, the drug addicted, and the homeless in this type of warehouse-style, recovery-oriented housing creates a dangerous microcosm which reduces the rate of successful social reintegration and excludes marginalized people from opportunity, dignity, and happiness. This development will offer space for substance use and house not only people suffering with drug addiction, but also those experiencing homelessness and mental health issues. However, the research shows that congregate housing for people with mental illnesses and addictions is not successful. It requires residents to be resilient to the erratic behavior and the drug use of others as they try to improve their lives, a strength they may not possess. High-quality research clearly demonstrates the desirability and effectiveness of providing independent, recovery-oriented housing that is scattered throughout neighborhoods and cities. Independent, recovery-oriented housing differs from congregate housing in that it allows individuals suffering mental health and addictions to live independently as a small percent of building tenants. It is important to note that these research results were conveyed to Housing Minister David Eby by Dr. Summers over a year ago, which begs the question, why are we continuing down this perilous path? Where is the city's integrity, wisdom, and more importantly, where is its compassion? Are we more concerned with making meaningful progress or checking boxes? With our deepening and tragic drug, mental health, and homelessness crises, I don't understand how the city and province can afford to dismiss successful solutions. It is abundantly clear to me, in this rezoning, the city has not conducted genuine, responsive public engagement that respects the wisdom and insights of the neighborhood, nor have the city and BC Housing provided you with all of the facts and data that you require to make a good decision on behalf of all of the residents of this city. Furthermore, and most disappointingly, there is a clinical model which has a higher rate of success than the one employed by this proposal. Why aren't we using it? This proposal is deeply flawed, and I ask you to reject it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for calling in. You do have a question from Councillor Boyle. Go ahead, Councillor Boyle, up to 5 minutes.
Yes, thanks. I'm wondering, I'm looking at the Housing First study that Dr. Summers was one of the academics on, and it says pretty clearly that Housing First in both congregate and scattered sites achieved markedly superior housing stability compared to not providing housing over that 24-month period. So I'm wondering if there's a different study that you are referring to?
I can't specify the study. I'm referring simply to Dr. Summers' body of work. But sorry, Councillor Boyle, I'd like to ask clarity. You said, and I think you're making an incorrect comparison here. You said as compared to not providing housing. Can I get clarity on your comment or your question?
It's not. The format, unfortunately, isn't a discussion. But the study I have in front of me, and I can ask it as a question again. But the Summers study, the randomized study, has pretty clearly outlined that congregate and scattered sites both perform better on a number of indicators than treatment as usual. And so I was wondering if there was a different study that you were referring to. That's my question, but if not, I can leave it at that. Thanks for your time.
Well, I'm happy to address your question, Councillor, because a moment ago you said that the study compared congregate and scattered housing to not providing housing. And the work that I reviewed of Dr. Summers didn't compare it to not providing housing. And that's not what I'm suggesting at all. I'm certainly suggesting that we need to do something here. What I'm saying is that according to the work of Dr. Summers and my actual seminars of his that I have attended, in which he has shared with us the substance of his work, it demonstrates very clearly that congregate housing is not as successful as independent, recovery-oriented housing. And that's what he communicated to me. I'm sure if you have further questions, he'd be happy to address those to you directly.
I will certainly ask him. Thank you.